Why do villagers have such big, long noses in Minecraft? Do they need to have an excellent sense of smell or something? In this video, I solved the age-old Minecraft mystery of why villagers have large noses. We also might have uncovered the secret backstory of the villager. The answer was not what I expected, but before we begin, please consider subscribing if you're interested. It helps tremendously, and enjoy the video. When you first look at the Minecraft villager, I bet one of the first things you notice is the villager's nose. You might be wondering now why they have such a big nose. And they are not the only mobs in Minecraft with a big nose. There are many other mobs related to the villager that have the same type of nose. Notably the pillager, witch, iron golem, and wandering trader. Since so many mobs in Minecraft have the same looking nose as the villager, this probably indicates that they were all once the descendants of the same type of villager. But somewhere along the way, they went separate paths and became the illagers, witches, etc. for other reasons. The Iron Golem and Ravager were probably constructed by someone or something. The Pillager and Witch were probably kicked out of the villages, or booted out, for working on their nefarious magical experiments. They now live lives of isolation and anonymity. Let us come up with possible explanations for why villagers would have such a big nose. Maybe the bigger nose helps the villager smell better, which helps it survive somehow, or gives it some kind of advantage of sorts. The problem with that theory though is that a bigger nose does not necessarily mean better smell, and there is no apparent reason for why the villager would need to have such a great sense of smell. The nose itself seems pretty useless, so why would they need the nose in the first place? Maybe the nose of a villager doesn't help the villager in any way, but it's for another reason. Maybe the nose is even for looks. You never know. After doing a bit of research, I've created the most plausible sounding explanation possible for why villagers have big noses. This also reveals a lot about the secret backstory of the Minecraft villager. Let us start from the beginning. Assuming the player is a human, I mean, you never know. The player could be some artificially created immortal monster for all we know. But anyways, Minecraft humans might have evolved from the apes, like in real life. Hominids, if you want to get real technical. If this is true, that would mean that the apes we evolved from in Minecraft went extinct in the game, since apes cannot be found in the game, obviously. This could be where the story of the Minecraft villager starts. What if the villagers evolved alongside us, the player? Maybe the villager evolved from a specific type of monkey, and out of all apes and monkeys, there is only one that looks extremely close to the villager, and has almost the exact same type of nose. And that creature is the proboscis monkey. The proboscis monkey, mainly known for its abnormally large nose, just like the villager, they typically look like they have a big belly as well. These monkeys can be found throughout the jungles and swamps of the island of Borneo, where they are most commonly found in Indonesia. They live much of their lives in the trees, where they look for young leaves and fruit. The reason why they look like they have big swollen bellies is because they have unique stomachs to help them digest the tough leaves in the area. Their unique stomachs with useful bacteria help them digest the toxic amount of leaves they eat. And believe it or not, the proboscis monkey can swim as well. The webbed hands help them swim in the water. They are also an endangered species. There are only around 7,000 left in the wild. If these were the ancient Minecraft villagers, they either organized into civilized villages or they went extinct, since we can't find any wild villagers in the wild anymore. Is it a coincidence that we can't find villages in jungles and swamps, where the earliest villagers presumably first lived? Maybe the villagers in the jungles and swamps decided to live nomadic tribal lives instead. They either went extinct or maybe became the wandering traders. Anyways, if the player evolved from the apes or hominids, what if the villager evolved from the proboscis monkey alongside the player? It is definitely plausible. The villager ended up evolving in a similar style to the player. Both the villager and the player have no tail anymore, and both lost their outer fur. But while the player still has hair on the top of his head, the villager is just bald. We also don't know what is behind those villager hands. The villager is also less intelligent, probably. We don't know exactly what goes on in their hands. The most important thing though is that villagers still retain the nose of the proboscis monkey. Why would this be? Important disclaimer, keep in mind that the villager in Minecraft probably didn't evolve from a proboscis monkey. That's just a fun idea that I added that could be true or not. You decide. Rather, studying the proboscis monkey and its motives helps us understand the Minecraft villager better. Now that that is out of the way, let us continue. It is not 100% certain why proboscis monkeys have big noses. The nose often gets in the way when eating. The most accepted theory is that the proboscis monkey has a large nose to attract female mates. The reason for this is because the bigger the nose, the louder the nasal sound it can make, which attracts other potential proboscis monkey mates and intimidates others. Here, we see an ancient villager in his natural habitat. He spends most of his life in the trees, finding the best leaves and the tastiest of fruits. But since he lives in the trees and not in a village, should he really be called a villager? Let's not think about that. After days' work of finding and eating the best leaves, the villager returns back to his harem group and makes his iconic sound to impress or intimidate the others. For now, he is the leader of this pack in the jungle. The villager enjoys a peaceful life, jumping from tree to tree. He better be careful though about the alligators hiding in the water that would love it if the villager accidentally fell into their waters. Just pretend those drowns are alligators. This could be why villagers have big noses. The villagers with the bigger nose can make the louder mating call, attracting or scaring off others with their impressive. In proboscis monkeys' harem groups, the leader is typically the one with the biggest nose, so this could be the reason villagers make the sound, which is considered attractive. But what about the iron golem and Ravager? They both seem to be non-organic, made of metal, and built by people from long ago. Why would they need noses, specifically villager ones? They could have been given big noses because it is considered attractive. And side note, it is the mating call that is attractive to the villager and proboscis monkey. It might not be the big nose itself. Proboscis monkeys typically have only one kid, which is pretty similar to the villager. Since there are no villagers in the wild, the ancient villagers might have either gone extinct or settled down for a life in a village. An interesting thing to note is that female proboscis monkeys have normal looking noses. This kind of makes things confusing since all villagers in Minecraft have the same large nose. Well, I guess it's the same dilemma as the fact that you can make two cows breed but also be able to get milk from both parents. Let's just not think about that. If you don't believe in lore or the proboscis monkey part of the story, here is another explanation. For the villagers to make their iconic sound, they need to have a large nose. The large nose makes the air coming out of said nose make the villagers sound, similar to how a fart works. There still might be a reason for why they have their long nose though. Maybe Mojang is trying to convey the fact that villagers are unintelligent, and the unibrow and large nose unfortunately convey that. Then again, the villager could be secretly a genius. We may never know. The most reasonable assumption is that the long nose is considered attractive to villagers. If you want to, comment your ideas down below. There could be other reasons for why villagers have a big nose. Like the video as well if you're enjoying it. But anyways, continuing with the story. To answer the age-old Minecraft mystery of why villagers have big noses, maybe it is because they evolved from a creature similar to the proboscis monkey, and their nose helps air make their iconic sound, which is very attractive to other villagers. The villagers eventually settled down for a dull, menial life in a village. The villagers could have been under subjugation in the past as well. Maybe the villagers didn't actually build their own villages, and someone else did instead. Anyways, The villager's nose is used to impress or scare other villagers. The nose is considered attractive to villagers. There is also another age-old Minecraft mystery too. Why are villagers' arms stuck together? And why do they love emeralds? Those mysteries, though, will have to be solved some other time.